When I came here, at age 10, no more than a month or two, I joined a choir at age 10. And I sang in a choir. I signed, my brother and I, we signed a contract for $150 a year. We used to get $1.50 for a wedding, you know. We sang, you know, at the wedding we sang solos, or Promise Me, and in the choir. We used to have 4 or 5 weddings a night on June and July. And that was at 10 years, and there were times that I came home 3 o'clock in the morning with my brother Irving, should rest in peace. And there were times that we had to put broken bottles near the train or the subway, so when we come home at 3 o'clock and we walk to our home, that we shouldn't be attacked. You know, many times we had fights. And we used to go with these broken bottles in the event anybody comes. Then and there were times that Second Avenue Theater wanted a few of our choirs. They wanted somebody with Molly Pekin in Schmendrick. And I was her partner. Yes, and we were 2 years we were in the theater that we played in Schmendrick. I was 5-ish and she was Schmendrick. She was my size, and I was 11 or 12 years old. And Irving was a soldier in that particular show that we had. And then when I lost my father at age 13, he was 43 years old. And when we lost our father, we borrowed money. He was sick for a year, he had cancer. My mother, for a year, was sitting by his bedside and feeding him to a tube through the belly. And she never changed her dress. She fell asleep on the bed when she was tired. And we borrowed money. We had to pay it back. And by doing that, we sang in a choir. We went to Rubel Ice Company. I was already too big for singing. I was about 15 or 16. And we sold sodas and beers where my father used to work.
How about the balloons there?
No, well...
This was came later?
No, that came before that. The balloons came before that. We sold balloons in
Coney Island.
Coney Island. I was 13, 14 years old. My father made $21 a month. We made, on a Sunday, we weren't allowed to work on a Saturday because we were ultra-Orthodox. And we sold balloons. This is I'm glad that you brought it up. We sold balloons and we had people working for us and blowing up the balloons. During the day, we sold them in the streets, and when it got too hot, we sold them by the ocean. And I can never forget at the time we were by the ocean, and I was selling the balloons, and the sun was hitting it, and the balloons were popping. And then a policeman was running after my brother Irving. And he ran into the ocean, my brother, and he said to the policeman, "Come and get me." And at night, we used to go on the boardwalk where we sold 5 cents a balloon. On the streets at night, we charged 10 cents. And it used to be, if you can recall, the rich people, they used to sit on carts where a Negro used to walk with them on the boardwalk.
I mean those two-wheelers, you know, yeah, like in India.
I don't know if you remember that.
You know, right?
I've seen picture.
Yeah, and we had about 6 workers. My sister Eva was working, Sam was working. We had from the yeshiva that my brother went to, he brought in 2 people, they were working. And my brother, when he went over to try to sell the kids that were in the cart with their mother and father, whoever didn't want, if the kid, you know, just didn't care to buy the balloon, he had a little pin. He used, you don't mind if I speak that
no,
way? You know, these are memories. In order to make to you know, have a customer to buy, he used to hit a little bit the kid with that little pin, and the kid used to cry, and he bought one or two. Sheldon, that's the truth.
Irving did.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yes.
There was another time.
Maybe
must
you
listen
go out
to
and
this.
sell the balloons. You
On
pick
my,
the balloons.
on my mid-Avenue, I'll never
You
forget.
bought the
as long-
balloons, so the kid wants a different balloon.
Right.
That's all.
I never forget, on my mid-Avenue, my brother was on one side and I was on the other. We used to have 200 balloons, 100 on one, you know, with a rubber band.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd hold it. And if we had to sell, we would take that 100 over here, take out a stick, and take out one of the sticks and sell it to the purchaser. And the cops came, and he arrested us. And my brother insisted that he will not go. He's too tired. He wants a wagon that should bring go. And by the time we waited for the wagon, many Jewish people came around, and they started cursing the police and all that. Two Jewish boys want to make a few dollars. And while we were doing that, and we're waiting for the wagon, my brother was selling balloons. And then finally they took us into the 16th Street precinct. And they had there in the cell, it's a very big cell, much bigger than this room. They had ice cream, peddlers, lollipops peddlers, balloon peddlers, pretzel peddlers. And we exchanged, we were hungry. This one gave me a nice one, he gave me a balloon. And my brother and I, we sang in the wet. We were tired, we sat on the floor, and we sang a Jewish duet that we sang in the choir. Out comes the captain. He comes over, he's listening to us sing. He opens and he was a Jewish captain. He opens the doors, and I can recall, he says, "You two little bastards, what the hell are you doing here?" We told him the story, that we got to make a living, lost a father. Just get the hell out of here. Took the two of us, and we just walked right out. After that, when we were too big already to sell balloons, we took a push, we rented a push cart, and we went to Rural Ice, and we bought beers and sodas, and we walked from Suffolk Street to Willoughby Avenue, which is the factories. It's quite a few miles. And we sold, during the lunch hour, we sold sodas and beers. Sheldon, we were hustlers. We had no time for an education. No time whatsoever. And to this day, I only wished I had that education. The opportunities that you kids had.